So now as we go into this last section of the day, I ask again that you prepare in a meditative state, hands and feet uncrossed. Go into the deep breathing, bring that life force in, and be aware you're breathing in the breath of all that is. And as you exhale, you are exhaling gratitude, and be very aware of that. Be aware of what you're hearing from me. And make it real. And bring in the inner child. Let them sit on your lap. Put their arms around you if they wish. Put your arms around them. I know you wish that. And continue breathing. And listen to what they say to you. They have this precious time. And maybe they haven't had time for a while. So they're brimming with excitement and joy to be so connected. So breathe in all that is. Breathe in that iridescent rainbow mist, the morphogenic field, pure love. That golden energy of gratitude and love. And again, bring in a golden light from the great central sun and bring it down through your point of essence. Bring it behind the breastbone about 2 inches. This beautiful, pulsating, alive ball of love, pure. Now let's that golden light go out through your arms and through your heart, and let's project it out to mankind, to humankind, and to Gaia. Pure love, harmony and balance, compassion. See the world the way you wish it to be and know that it is so. Harmony and balance with the people, with the beings, with the animals, with the government, with the children. In all situations, this golden light of pure love from your heart and your hands, sending out to everyone and everything. Send it through the waterways of the planet, the bloodline of the planet. Blood, pure love. And know that you have stepped through a major door on the 11-11-11. Feel the joy in your heart. For this new place, this new feeling. Love and honor the old. And joyously accept the new now. Embrace change. Embrace it. Embrace it. Nothing. Embrace it. Embrace it. Nothing is static. Embrace the change. Pure golden love. Be aware of the child. And during this channeling, as you listen to Kryon, please listen to that child. And so it is.
Greetings, dear ones. I am Kryon of Magnetic Service. What would cause human beings to sit in a place like this? And think for a moment that they could become multidimensional enough to hear words from the other side of the veil. And there would be those who would call you foolish. And I will tell you, the answer is old souls. Souls. It's not a doctrine, it's not a belief system, it's an absolute knowledge of the love of God, where home is and what truth is. That inside you, that there's a spark of a Creator that cannot be denied. The experts say that 85% of the planet believes in the afterlife. If they are so, and if it is so, it has to be more than wishful thinking, doesn't it? What if it's intuitive? What's going to happen when you die? And the answer, old soul, is the same thing that happened every time you died before. Be. The secrets are not there as it should be. For the test is for you to find that who you are. It's always been that. And the irony is that old souls often are seekers of this truth, only to have the truth elusive. So elusive. And so I would like to build a bridge tonight. I'd like to tell you a little bit more about what you're up against and some of the processes that are involved in touching the face of the Creator inside you. Before I do it, I want to state the obvious. We're on the cusp of 2012 as this meeting is being produced. As I speak to you in your time frame, it is not yet the year of the middle of the shift. Has not arrived. And so this would be a good time to congratulate the old souls. I've said it before, sitting right here. I've invited you to look even into your Akash. I've invited you to feel that which would be the reason you came. Let me just state it simply. Old soul, no matter how many times you've been here, even in this lifetime, you've had to slog through the old energy. And you know what I mean. And it has not been easy. You've lost friends and family, colleagues, because of what you believed. because you said there was a God inside, that you may not want to subscribe necessarily to that which is a three-dimensional doctrine system of the earth, which limited you, your worship, your beliefs, and your love. But you wanted to expand that box that you were put in to say, I believe I am God. Piece and part of me is in the stars, and that's who I am. And it's gotten you in trouble. And in these last years, perhaps in these last months, there has been a major shift going on. It's a shift of the grid of this planet being more aligned and recalibrated to your energy than in any time in any of your lives. It is what you had always wished for, it is always hoped for, as that which is a worker in the light, that there would come a time on this planet where the energy starts to be in your corner. Slowly, you can watch it work. Slowly, you can watch the heads of government start to think differently. Slowly, you can watch that which is finance start to think differently. Slowly, it is coming around. Congratulations for those of you. This would be a great energy to manifest in. And so I'll say it even before the lesson begins. What is it that you have cast aside? Or that you've tried and it didn't work? What is it that was your passion? That in your mind you have put aside because you have decided it didn't work, it won't work, or the time is not right. Well, the time is right. There is a well of knowledge that is deep in this room. That is the Akashic record of all who are before me. It is the lifetimes that have been lived. It is the knowledge that has been gained. It is the experience that you've gone through. And all of it can now surface and become part of this planet's actual Akash. All of it can be placed upon that which we would call the crystalline grid. That is why you're here, to bring forth that which you know. And I will tell you, old soul, it is why we say that less than 0.5% of you have to become light in this way in order for the earth to change. The seeds are being planted today. It is no longer, will I make it to the human being? You have. You have. And now you're working the puzzle and moving through a shift which we promised would come, and it is here. And just think, when you reach the other side of 2012, 18 more years to go, you're still in the energy of the alignment. It's a 36-year window, and you're not even halfway through it. And here's what that means to spirit. There is an energy created in this window which is absolutely special and will not occur again for 26,000 years. 18 more years to change this planet, to plant the seeds. You're already doing it. It's already happening. And at the end of the 18 years, I'll give you a prophecy. The beginning of peace on earth in the Middle East. You're going to see ways out of things you never sought before. In that amount of time, the youngsters, which are only teenagers now, will be leaders. They'll be on their way up. They will be thinking about concepts you did not think of. They will be solving puzzles that you said were unsolvable. There will be technology that is going to help the planet in ways you didn't even dream could be. That's the prophecy in 18 years. For I know the consciousness of those coming. And I can see what the potentials are. So let's now talk specifics. What is it can I do? What is it I'm supposed to do, you might say? There are those in here who have been seeking. Oh, they're leaders. They're even presenters. Some are even healers. But they've been seeking. How can I cross the bridge? How can I touch that inside? Which is precious, and I know it's there, and I think I failed to find the bridge. And so let us talk of it. Let us discuss it. We start with an intellectual discussion about what is the human being. And we're going to give it a simplistic view. We talk about esoteric things, and yet what is the human being? And we're going to give it a simplistic view. We talk about esoteric things, and yet we talk about invisible things, but things you know about. There are literally 3 layers that compose what I would call the human being in its entirety. Simple. And they're all profound. And each one gets more profound. Only 3, really. And the first one we're going to call human consciousness. The second one we're going to call innate. I'll explain these to you in a minute. The third one we're going to call the higher self. To take and go from the one inside to the next, and then to the next. So you can build a bridge from that which is 3-dimensional, which you live in, which you call human consciousness, right into that which we call body intelligence, the innate, which is very close to the portal through the pineal, which is the higher self. How do you do it? How do you do it? And I will tell you this, in the old energy, you do it very seldom. Deep meditation, visions, gifts from others, sitting in front of those who can read and do it easy. And that is starting to move and shift. For we're asking you to do it, all of you. That is starting to move and shift. For we're asking you to do it, all of you, yourself. The energy is starting to move into a place where this is available for all, and you're going to have to get out of a 3-dimensional paradigm of how to accomplish it. Crying, in 20 years, you've never given us a list. How do we do this? There are others giving lists. There are even other Cryons giving lists. But you don't. I'm going to show you and tell you why. Let us say you sit there and you wish that you could love yourself more. What if you have this desire? I wish I could love myself more. I wish I could love Gaia more. I wish I could touch the face of God and touch the inner child. I don't know what to do next. So you want to love yourself. Let me ask you something. Who are you going to go pay to make that happen? And the answer is, well, now that won't work. And you know that, don't you? And you'll say, no, Crying, that doesn't work that way. We can't go pay somebody to have something happen inside that only we can do. And I say to you, oh, really? Has that just occurred to you? Or you say, well, listen, there's a lot of programs. I can go take the program, How to Love Yourself More. That's what I'll do. It's right there on the internet. I can study it all I want to. Take my time. And at the end of it, I will tell you dear human being, you'll have a lot of processes in front of you. And there's a good chance you won't love yourself any more than you do now. Why is that? Because in 3 dimensions, you always want to turn to somebody else, don't you? You want to take a pill and make it better, don't you? And there are processes where this will work for other attributes, but not for love. Not for love. Not for love. This one you're going to have to face yourself. Look in the mirror and do it. And even then, there will be those who say, and what is the first step? I just gave it to you. Look in the mirror and start the process. Now, this is not going to sit well to the intellectual who wants to figure it out. But I will tell you, this is the puzzle, and it's very much like this. And so I'm going to give you a metaphor. I'm going to talk to you about how it's done. And even then, there will be those who walk out of here and go, I'm not really sure I understand all that. It is not easy. The first thing that you have to acknowledge and get past is the first layer. It is human consciousness. That is what I'm going to call the survival layer. As long as you are in survival, you will never know any other layer at all. As long as you're in survival, you will not get to the next one. You can't even start the process. And that's because the survival layer depends on you reacting to the outside world. You're always looking around, aren't you? You got to make sure everything is proper, right, aren't you? You've got to respond properly when talked to, don't you? This is survival. You know how to get rid of survival? Spirit knows. How many of you have been brought to your knees through sorrow or health? How many of you? I know who's here. I'm talking to you. You know. Because suddenly survival goes away and the conscious layer drops before you, and all you see is the love of God. And that, dear ones, is the position you have to be in. But why wait for an emergency? Why not understand it and work on doing that very thing? Step 1, get out of survival. How do I do that, Brian? Dear Spirit, I wish to change my consciousness, you might say, and soften it. I want to become softer. When those who would insult me or come up and push my buttons, I don't want the buttons to work anymore. I want to disengage them, and that is survival. Because I am safe in the arms of God. Totally and completely safe. I can drop the outer shell that is the human consciousness that reacts to 3D and walk my life differently. That would be the first step. That's the first step. Criticize you. Are you quick to make it right? How many of you can hear a criticism of yourself, stop and think this? Oh, what if they're right? It's hard for a human being. You can't do that easily. You got to practice that one. You know why? Because you're designed for survival. And in the old energy, it served you well. And now it doesn't. I want to take you to the consciousness of the masters of the planet who are all here. If you stood before the Christ and you said, well, I don't really like what you're wearing, what do you think the master would say? Well, it's fine with me. It suits me well, and I got a good deal on it. After all, he was deal on it. After all, he was Jewish. And that's not what he would say. That's not what he would say. He would look in your eyes and look right through you. He would look into the peace of God that he knows and loves dearly, and you would melt before him. That's what would happen. Muhammad walked into a cave, and he met an angel who told him to unite the tribes of Arabia and give them the God of Israel. And that's what happened, and he did. And he knew the love of God. He walked softly, and he was beautiful. Earth again with Paramahansa Yogananda right now. And you look into his eyes and you say, you know, your robe smells funny. Would you ever even say that? There are some who would. He would look at you with the love of God and melt you. Because you would see in him there was no judgment, there is no hurt, only truth. There is no agenda, there is no survival consciousness with mastery. Do you see what I'm saying? And what happens when you can accomplish that, when you can soften the survival, is you start getting in touch with innate. That's layer 2. And then a process begins. We have told you about innate before. It is the body intelligence that knows everything, the body intelligence that knows everything that's going on in your body because it represents the field that is quantum around your DNA. It is the innate you touch for healing. It's the innate that responds to the laser and the chemistry that is profound, that is new. Because it's multidimensional, innate sees it and knows it. You know what else is multidimensional? Human consciousness intent. When you generate thought groups that are creative, it is a multidimensional process. It's what paints paintings. It's what the maestro behind me uses when he closes his eyes and hears melodies he's never heard from the other side of the veil. That's a multi-dimensional process, and he can turn it on when he wants because he's in touch with innate. How do you do it? So I will now describe to you again how it is done. The first step was to get out of survival. The second step is pure intent. Intent to touch that which perhaps has never been touched in your life before. Ready to cross the bridge, you are. And have this energy, which is ripe on the planet, serve you. And start working with that intent so that you become closer to what you've always had, the miracle layer, the innate. It's in touch with DNA. The stem cell blueprints are there. The Akashic record is there. Spontaneous remission there. Do you hear what I'm saying? It's all there. The masters knew it. That's how they worked. All those healings that you heard about that they did, absolutely real. They were touching the innate of every single human being they were with. How do you do it? Pure intent. And I'll say it again. Intent which is so pure, you cannot go backwards once you've given it. Absolute. You're going to co-create something with intent because the intent is all of you moving in to an area you've never been before. And here's a metaphor, and you'll never forget it. When the human being stands on the edge, the bank of a lake, and they desire to jump in, all of the muscles of their body, with pure intent, give the process and the attributes coming together of jumping into the air. And they've committed. And you might say, well, now they're in the air. But there's a process which they don't understand, but they know all about. And it's called gravity. Science does not understand gravity. Oh, they think they do. They think it's related to mass. Well, it is related, but it's only one of the attributes of gravity. Mass does not determine gravity. What you see in 3D is a correlation that you have come to understand and say, well, this is why you have gravity here, why it's less here, why it's more here, why it's more here. Oh, how 3D of you. There'll come a day when you can control gravity, when you can make massless objects. Tesla did it. The science is out there ready to be discovered yet again, and you don't understand it, but you all use it. So here is an extremely complex process that is no understanding at all, a multidimensional attribute of the universe, and you use it every day. Every day, you don't even think about it. Don't understand it, and you use it. And you've jumped off the bank, and gravity takes you into the lake. Now, how many of you, after you're wet, get out of the lake, sit down with a pad and a piece of paper, and want a list of how gravity did that? Are you understanding what's going on here? Listen, there is a profound divine rule and an axiom. And let me give it to you another way. Your higher self is a piece of the Creator. You're all born with it. It's the same soul you've had for every single lifetime. Are you aware of that? Every lifetime, same soul. There's a friend there. Some of you have been able to reach out and touch that friend, and that is when you're the most peaceful on the planet. Can you feel that? Do you remember that? How would you like to have that all the time? It's like having all your parents back wrapped up in one inside you, looking at you. Touch them, they can touch you. Touch their hand anytime you want. In pure love, it's the parents you always wished you had if you didn't have them. From the other side of the veil, that's what it is. Oh, you feel so good. That's where the inner child is. It feels so good. You can touch it anytime you want. And it can be 100% of the time. You can be on a high of love. The process is not understandable. Here's what I want to tell you. Ever since you were born, that higher self, that soul, which has been with you every single time, which has all the intelligence that you don't seem to, with the shell of consciousness, always has had his hand out. This is the loving God who puts you in places synchronistically that maybe you'll make decisions. It's that same loving energy that will show you 11:11 on the clock that's completely and totally non sequitur. That is to say, it's out of the possibility of randomness that you keep seeing the same numbers. Now you know. That's the Creator inside you, tapping you on the shoulder and saying, look now. 11:11, numerologically, illumination, illumination, two master numbers side by side. Can you miss that? Can you miss that? Old soul, it's a wink. This is the lifetime you've waited. Why don't you live a little longer? Why don't you start youthing? You know it's in the DNA if you want it. Why don't you co-create a reality that you've only dreamed of? You know it's there if you want it. And you feel it, can't you? You can feel it. You got to get out of survival and get pure intent. And trust a process that you have no idea about how it works. And can you do that? And here's the promise, dear human being, that when you begin that pure intent, this process has to be trusted and will work. It will work because this is what Spirit has been waiting for. Jump into the lake. You can't, because this is what Spirit has been waiting for. Jump into the lake. You can't stop it. There is no delete key in the human brain. You can't unknow what I've just told you. Oh, you can try. It won't work because I'm speaking to that which is inside you right now. And some of you are starting to feel it. There are old souls here whose higher selves are right now going, listen, 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 listen. Because they've been with you all your life. And all they've wanted all along is for you to touch the hand. Training without knowledge. You can trust the process just like you do gravity. Can it be that hard? It's there, it works, but you've got to take the leap. And when you do, you can't go backwards. When my partners first started channeling, and with this I'll close, I gave him information that was simple, nothing like this. And I told him about the implant. And he said, crying, that's a bad word. He said to me, crying, he said, there are light workers out there trying to take out implants and you want to put one in. He said to me, crying, he said, there are light workers out there trying to take out implants and you want to put one in. Don't use that word. My partner's partner at the time said, don't use that word. And here's why we use it and what it means. After all these years, I tell you, it's permission to implant pure intent. That's what it is. And the reason it takes people back for a moment, because they don't want something put into them that they can't take out, you know? Never understanding that that's exactly what you do when you jump off the bank. You're not going back, and you're going to get wet. How many of you are ready for this, old soul? It's time to get that you were designed to go in a place that will welcome you with open arms, and a process that may take a while for you to get there, but one which we have invited you to begin this day. Implantation of permission to change. And you can't take it back. And so the teaching becomes more profound. More profound because it deals with the essence of why you're here. It pushes on those buttons of yours that say, I don't really want to go there and do that because I'm afraid things will change too much. How about you get rid of the fear about that and consider changing to something better than you have, because that's the change. No matter how good you think it is, it will get better with the love of God. Time to visit the family inside you. Listen, there are those you've loved and lost, including the obvious one who is here, saying, "Job well done." That's why they brought you here. That's why they parented you on the other side of the veil. They knew it. No matter what they did when they were here, they knew it. And that's why you are sitting in the chair today. God bless the human being who has gone through this incredible journey, only to sit in this place at this time to start the seeds of graduation. It is before you. Change is difficult. Change is difficult. Be fearless. Walk tall. And know that you represent the only light that there ever will be on this planet. Nobody's going to do this for you. Every country my partner has been in, they're all the same. They're just like you. You've taken turns with cultures and languages. They're just like you. Brothers and sisters all working on the same thing you are. Touching the face of God inside. Becoming more than you ever thought you would be. It is appropriate. It is time. And so it is. The God inside, becoming more than you ever thought you would be. It is appropriate. It is time. And so it is. It is appropriate. It is time. And so it is.